If the Red Bull power struggle ends in the worst possible way for the F1 team, and that is with the departure of powerful figures like Verstappen and Newey, it will undoubtedly mean that the team will enter a stage of rebuilding. But how can you replace a generational talent like Max Verstappen? Well, you start by hiring an experienced driver who, according to Ralf Schumacher, might be the closest thing to replacing a driver like Verstappen. Could this come to fruition, and how would that change the team? 2 months ago, you could not have imagined that there could even be talks about Verstappen leaving Red Bull. But with the fast-developing power struggle in Milton Keynes that even spilled into the official energy drinks company recently, those talks could soon become a reality. With Verstappen stating that if Helmut leaves, so will he. Suddenly, a lot of doors opened, which were previously locked and forgotten. Needless to say that Hamilton's move to Ferrari also contributed to this early silly season we're seeing in the sport, and it promises that the 2025 driver market will be a sight for sore eyes. Horner has won the latest battle in the ongoing civil war in Red Bull, and for the time being he stays in power and can make the most important decisions for the team moving forward. Such a decision might see Verstappen leave, and by doing so Horner would open the Pandora's box, after which we might see some names in teams that were unimaginable before the beginning of February. A potential new team for Verstappen would be Mercedes, since his father Jos has been seen talking to Toto Wolff in Saudi Arabia, but seeing the current state of the Silver Arrows, especially after another disastrous performance at the Australian Grand Prix, one can only wonder why Max would want to join a crumbling team like Mercedes, which needs a lot to firstly stand on their own two legs and only then to begin to improve. Verstappen's contract with Red Bull runs out at the end of 2028, and in all honesty, we could expect him to fulfill that. But Red Bull have Perez to think about as well, whose contract runs out at the end of the year. We can't rule out an all-star pairing here like Ferrari will have in 2025 with Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. And according to the F1 pundit and brother of Michael Schumacher, Ralf, that is exactly what the Austrian side will be doing. Not only Max, but also the team is thinking about an alternative, and there are now completely new rumours, the German revealed to Sky Deutschland. Christian Horner has always been a very big fan of Fernando Alonso. Apparently there are big intentions in the background to bring Fernando Alonso into the cockpit next year to have another strong driver if Max Verstappen leaves the team. Schumacher believes Alonso would be a good option for Red Bull, having shown during his time with Aston Martin that he very much still has what it takes to compete with the best. The Spaniard is out of contract at the end of this season, opening the door for him to sign with Red Bull. If Fernando Alonso were to get to Red Bull at the end of his career and in a car with which he can win, Alonso would obviously want that, said the six-time Grand Prix winner. And you saw what Alonso did again at the weekend, how fast he was, how he prevented George Russell from overtaking him. I think he knows what he wants and he would fit in well. And of course, you have to say today you need experienced people. You have to win from the outset, especially at Red Bull. This is something very important, and I think Fernando Alonso would be a good alternative. But will Fernando Alonso really be a good alternative to Max Verstappen? I'm in no way doubting his skills. I mean, this is a two-time champion we're talking about, and a guy with so many years in the sport. So the experience is there, and I think he will be very valuable to the team. But no matter how good he is, will he be able to perform at the highest level possible against someone 16 years younger with better and faster reactions and a generational talent who already has more titles than him? If Red Bull were to get Alonso, but alongside Max Verstappen instead of Sergio Perez, then suddenly you're talking about a great duo of speed and experience, and one that might keep Red Bull at the top even when the new regulations take place in 2026 if Verstappen sees out his contract until 2028. Considering who will be in which position for 2025, with a car expected to pose a significant challenge for the World Drivers' Championship, Red Bull Racing do indeed find themselves in a favourable position in the market. So if they sign Alonso, it would be a bit strange, especially with numerous young talents available, including Liam Lawson, who is already within the Red Bull organisation. Even in the event of a Verstappen departure, whether to another team due to personal reasons or amid the ongoing power struggle at Red Bull Racing involving Marco, the team would have their pick of replacements. Speaking about this recently, Alonso has been adamant that he'll decide his own destiny and whether or not he'll continue to drive in 2025, and that he would make a decision on his future in the coming weeks. He says that there's been no progress since then, as he's concentrating on improving this season's car. It didn't change much, he said, and it will not change in the next few weeks or races. I don't want to wait maybe until summer because I think that will be unfair for me and for the team if they have to find more options and things like that. I don't want to rush as well and to make a decision while my head is not into next year. My head is so focused now on the things that I will love to test on the car after the learnings of the first few events. Everything is so exciting about the performance that if I need to think about next year, it's like, this is not the right time now to think. So if Alonso is to be believed, then this door is already closed. However, of course, in Formula One, you would be making a big mistake if you think that things will stay as they are. It's an ever-changing sport, and something great today can crumble really fast, or at least start to, as we're seeing right now within the Red Bull organisation. A lot of this will depend a lot on how the power struggle concludes for the final time, because if Horner indeed comes out on top and Verstappen and Helmut leave along with Newey, then it becomes a whole new ball game with millions of different possibilities, one of which could very well be Alonso going to Red Bull. But unless Red Bull fancy annoying Verstappen with a driver who likes having a team focused around him as well, the Spaniard might not make as much sense as the likes of Sainz or an international promotion might, like we mentioned earlier with Liam Lawson. In the right circumstances, Alonso does make a lot of sense, but are those right circumstances in place right now, and will they be come 2025? It's going to be an interesting period in Formula One, that's for sure, and it's good that we're at least getting that, if not excitement, on the track. The 2025 driver market is shaping up to be one of the most important ones in years, I believe, and who ends up where is still very much a mystery. No matter who Alonso would replace in Red Bull, whether Max, like Ralf Schumacher says, or Perez, since the Mexican's contract expires at the end of this year, it will definitely shake up the sport. Positively for us fans, because Fernando will be given a very dominant car in this era of ground effect rules, and you best bet that he'll get the most out of it as humanly possible. And the results, well, they will come, perhaps even in the form of a championship. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Alonso could join Max in Red Bull or replace him? We've shown you two different situations, so very interested to see which one you think could play out. Thank you for watching today's video, and we'll see you in the next one.